All right, now that we have our dried piece of chaga all good to go, I've got it all set up right here in my little cooking area, and I've got a piece of chaga. So there's two different ways that I'm going to prepare it today. There's a short brewed method, and then there's a long brew method. The short brewed method, you only have to grind your chaga up into a powder, and then you can either put it into a tea infuser. I don't have a tea infuser right now or any tea bags, but I have a little bit of small cheesecloth, and I'm just going to use that right now. The other way is a long method, and that way you just take a couple bigger chunks of chaga and you put that on top of a stove or a fire for a couple hours and just let that simmer. The good way about that way is after you use your chunks once, you don't throw them away. You can use them 2 or 3 times as opposed to just using the powder once for the short brewed method. So that's the kind of beneficial way for using the long brew. You can use the chunks multiple times. So right now I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start busting up my chaga right here. I'm going to do one, get ready to do with the powder for short brew, get some chunks ready, maybe 4 or 5 chunks ready for the long brew, let that simmer here, and we're going to do a little taste test for the first time of this Chaga Tea. So you want to also take all the bark off. There was some bark that was on this side, so we'll just give that a quick shave off before we get going here. And you see all that orange stuff on the inside? That is the chaga goodness. So get rid of all that bark. There we are. Okay, there's some chunks right there we can use. Some more bark right there. Still a bit wet, but that's okay. All right, we have the water added. Let's turn the stove on. There we are. Didn't measure the water, but I would say maybe it's a cup, 2 cups of water. Chunks of chaga. So we'll get probably like 5 chunks, I'm gonna say. One, 2. 3. We'll do those 4 chunks right there. Alright, we're going to use these 4 chunks right here. We'll make it 5. 5 chunks of chaga. I'm going to pop her over into the water. And then we're just going to let that simmer and stew for probably about, I don't know, 2-3 hours, 4 hours. Alright, we got this chaga here. And then this stuff, gonna get into a powder and then get that ready to put in my cheesecloth that I'll be using because I don't have any tea bags or a tea infuser. All right, so if you're doing your short brewed recipe for your chaga and you're doing it all ground up and crushed up like that, then you're going to want to put, I don't know, maybe about a tablespoon in your tea infuser or tea bags or whatever you're going to use. But there we are. There's about a tablespoon right there, all good to go. A couple of different things that's going to change the taste of your chaga. Obviously, the short brewed, when you're going to grind it up into a powder, is going to taste different than your long brewed when you let it simmer for a couple hours. When you let it simmer for a couple hours, you're going to get more of a natural and more of an enhanced flavor than when you're just going to be doing the kind of instant chaga coffee. A couple different ways you can change the flavor of it depending on how long you steep it, depending on how many pieces you use for your long brew version, and how long you're going to simmer it for in the pot as well. So there's a couple different variations, and you just got to play around with it and kind of do a little taste test yourself. I guess I've heard of people using birch syrup and maple syrup and sugar, just like an actual coffee or tea, and with their chaga tea. But when everything's all good to go, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to taste it au natural. So I have my chaga brewing on my little camp cook stove here, and it's going to take probably another 2 hours at least, but it's only been on there about 15 minutes or so, and the color of the water has changed quite profusely. It is a really, really dark golden color now, as opposed to just 15 minutes ago when it was super, super clear. You can see the different chaga chunks floating around in there, but that's after 15 minutes. It's changing colors. All right, well, that time has come. Chaga taste test is coming up. The long brew has been going for maybe about 2 hours, maybe a little bit more than that. And I just put the water on to boil for my short brew. I have that here all balled up inside of cheesecloth, just because I don't have a tea bag or a tea infuser, but it should work the exact same way. So here momentarily, once that water boils for the short brew, I'll show you the difference here in these glass jars between the long brew and the short brew, the different taste testing palettes for your tongue, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and the different color in it as well. So be sure to stay tuned. All right, we are all good to go. Got my jars set up. I have the long brew right here. So I'm going to pour that first, and then I'll do the short brew, and we'll let that steep probably for 10 or 15 minutes. So this long brew, it was going for about 2 hours or so. There that is. Nice darkness to it. I think that's going to be a lot darker than what the short brew is going to be. So we'll get the short brew now. All right. So I'm going to let that steep for probably 15 minutes or so, and we'll come back and we'll give them both a taste test. Well, there we have it, folks. We have our two chaga teas. We have our long brew and we have our short brew. As you can see, there is a big variety in color right there. The long brew was brewed for about 2 hours or so, and as you can see, it is just a lot darker in color than the short brew. So this right here is the short brew. This right here is the long brew. Short brew is a lot more golden, and the long brew is definitely a lot more brown. So we're going to see here what they taste like and the difference in flavor between both of them. So I actually follow a guy, My Self-Reliance. If you're checking out this channel, you're probably interested in off-grid and self-sustainability, so you probably know who that is. He drinks chaga all the time, so I was kind of watching him one day, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So found out about it through him the very first time, and just so happened that I have some on the property, and here it is. All right, so I'm going to try the short brew first. Smells, I don't know, it's not a bad smell, it's not a good smell. Actually, it kind of is a good smell. It's almost like a spice almost. Maybe that's just my nose picking up something else. All right, let's give it a go here. Short brew, taste test, let's go. Well, there's my first sip of Chaga Tea. That's actually not bad. It's a little bit hot. It doesn't really have a distinct flavor. Somebody mentioned that it tastes like flat pop, and it actually does. It tastes like flat pop. It's not bad though, I like it. Yeah, that would be nice to sip on a cold day, or when you start your morning or anything like that. So that's the short brew. Now let's try the long brew. Kind of curious on the flavor profile on this because it wasn't too potent on the short brew. So it has a different flavor. It smells more potent, more flavorful, I would imagine. All right, so let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's definitely a big difference in taste. Yeah, it's definitely a unique flavor. I feel like I've had something along that lines before. I would say. Yeah, I would say I'm partial to more of the long here. I think I would like to have it a little bit more sweet, so I may try to add some birch syrup if I can find some, or maybe give a couple little, maybe a little, I don't know, like a teaspoon of maple syrup. I think it would be good. But yeah, that's actually, I like it. I like it a lot. Be good to just sip on. Wake up, get yourself going. A little cup of tea in the morning. Yeah, that's good. So I'll probably got to start to implement this into my diet here once I can, be more efficient in the cabin here in the next little bit. But that's delicious. Chaga taste test, all good. My partial opinion, I like the strong brew better than the short brew right here for what they are. But if you're in a pinch, then obviously short brew, done, 15 minutes, Bob's your uncle. All right, well, this is Adam and the Chaga taste test. Chaga hunt is all over. It's all said and done. It's in the books. Hopefully that has answered some of your questions about what is Chaga, some of the benefits I might have mentioned previously. I can't remember, but if not, definitely go check out my vlog. Oh, well, I just noticed that my frame was out of focus there a little bit, so hopefully it's not too bad. Well, that's the Chaga taste test right here. Signing off here is Adam from Maple Monkey Media on this beautiful Nova Scotian day. Hopefully you like the Chaga hunt, the Chaga taste test. If so, maybe hit that subscribe button, follow along for more adventures and more videos like this. Head over to www.maplemonkeymedia.com. There's all kinds of videos, and there's going to be more blog posts. There's going to be a Chaga blog post if you prefer reading rather than videos, or if you just want to check out both as well. So, Adam here from Maple Monkey Media signing off. Hopefully you have a blessed day. Muchly appreciate the continued support. Keep that stick on the ice, and there is no failure if you keep going. Keep going, champions. You're all beautiful. Have a great day, troops. Cheers. Woo!